devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand on the trigger. The devil in a red dress. Call 911, I'm a killer. You know I hate to confess. Bang, bang, got my hand, bang, got my hand. Call
What do you do with the Bitcoin besides it just gather value?
Real estate developers in New York City, they're not buying the real estate because they want to live in it.
But like most of the people who are buying assets at some point want to sell the assets at a profit.
People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. There's a name for them. We call them poor. We call them poor. Okay? Right, like, the point is, if you have the superior asset, it's going up forever, Laura. Forever.
Right, but we can all look Bitcoin sort of as...
Forever, Laura. People that use fiat currency as a store of value, we call them poor. We call them poor. People that use fiat currency, we call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor. We call them poor.
With time, a seed becomes a tree, sheltering us. With time, a skill becomes a talent, empowering us. With time, a technology becomes a tool, enhancing us. By nature, time gives value to almost everything, yet the very thing our society gives value to, our money, loses value over time. This paradox warps our reality by defying the laws of nature, and it stems from the belief that $1 today is worth more than $1 tomorrow, meaning money must always lose value. We built our reality off of this model. Time value of money, we call it, but in reality, this is just dogma. Since we can keep making more of it, we end up destroying our own purchasing power. So we put it in stocks, put it in bonds, put it in land, put it in funds, put it in crypto, put it in gold. But we are not oracles, so what do we know? We know that it's hard to get by. We know some people may never retire. Is time value of money a lie? Does it discount the monetary value of our time? If time is money, how are they moving in different directions? We're working longer for less, we end up just giving away our freedom. Give up liberty for policies, give up our agency to the authorities. Because when our foundation is built on complexity, we simplify humans by giving up our humanity. Reality check, we've strayed too far from the truth. The world economy's a wreck when 1 + 1 no longer equals to 2. And if life's created from the truth, along the way something got screwed, and we let our own dogma subjectify value. We divorce action from consequence. We defy the law of physics. We make scarcity infinite. We disregard the language of mathematics. So our systems are built in a fallacy. Our society's based in a fantasy. In the absence of truth, we're living in the shadows of our own reality. And that's the root problem. Man-made rules can be broken. As our trust crumbles, so does the progress of our civilization. But one thing remains constant: no one can cheat nature. So why not use it to architect a stronger base layer? The most beautiful buildings engineered based on these consequences. Natural law drives rigor needed to build something enduring, uncompromising on principles that account for the flaws. Because when our lives are at stake, the gravity of truth cannot be ignored. So if our monetary systems were designed like structures, it would embody energy and matter, so the money itself matters. An unbreakable limit enforced by costliness of creation ensures the structure holds value for many generations. A rule-based system governed by maths builds a transparent ecosystem that can self-error correct. With no one in charge, no words are taken as fact. Only work from computation can actualize truth of timestamps, and like water flowing off a cliff down the path of gravity, computational energy makes time flow one way only. It is this irreversibility which gives value to our money by upholding consensus and scarcity to create one shared reality. Now the map is the territory. Now we're working with high fidelity. Now money is truthfully time and energy bound by finality. Now we have the ability to manifest each of our dreams and build a world that is much more reflective of all of our needs. And that's the purpose of money. Merely a tool to shape our reality. Merely a function to harness and express individuality. It's just a way to live freely. Just a means for possibility. Because when we build on integrity, we enhance the beauty of humanity. The most beautiful societies are built from diversity of our thoughts that come to life when we're empowered individually. Because when our money tomorrow is worth more than today, we shift from predicting to creating the future ourselves. And when our money grows in value, we grow thoughtful in how we use it. Natural law drives rigor needed to fund something enduring, something truly worth it, something that pushes the sky's limit, something only possible when our real value and consequence exist in boundless virtual dimensions. Imagine potential creation, fueled by monetary life force, lasting for many generations. We will venture into new territory and unleash these possibilities once we learn to embrace the truth of our reality.
Now that I'm done talking to myself. Hi, guys. All right. I forgot the checklist. Hey, I'm getting pretty good, man. I haven't done that in a little bit. So we're making progress. All right. Anyway, what I was saying was that I love you guys. It's weird seeing a bunch of little heads dropping into a jar. I really appreciate all of the support everybody's given. It's massive. And I think my portfolio is up about 6 figures today. Options, as you can see, are still settling. They take about a half an hour. So, yeah, I'll get better. I'll remember the unmute. Ideally, I could get it just to where I can play the music and then not have to mute at all. Be easier not to forget that way, at least. But yeah, portfolio. Thank you for the tip, too. Tipping me to remind me to make myself audible. That's a pretty good deal. Anyway, miners. Miners up 10-11% today. That was sweet. Definitely good stuff. For the members, you know what I was looking at buying today and what I did purchase. Again, I saw these options go up a decent amount. Please don't pile into the exact same contract. Look at what I have in the video. You can always buy the stock. I did see people going into other contracts. That's smart. I just don't want to see people get wrecked, especially with things that are lower in volume. Options are already lower in volume. With a stock like Tesla, probably doesn't matter what I say. But with smaller stocks, it can matter. So please, 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 just don't wreck yourself getting greedy and not understanding what you're getting into. That is the last thing for what I'm trying to accomplish. So just be smart, please. Now, so again, MicroStrategy did great today. I think I bought that down 5% on the day. Got about 15 of those. And it closed, up 6.2. So that was a nice little turnaround of 11.5-ish%. Don't hate that. WGMI, another minor one, did all right. Tesla looks like it started to rebound, even went up a little bit. The only loser for the day was SOFI. Down, it looks like, I'm down 39% on that one. That's funny because PayPal used to be the one everybody shit on me for. And now it's only down 27%. So think of how well I'd be doing if I didn't buy that like 7 months too early. 8 months actually now. Think if my timing was better, man, I'd be set. But still doing all right. Mostly to fill the jar, not to remind. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that, dude. All right. So anyway, let's move on. So I did buy some stuff today. I bought MicroStrategy. I bought ARKG. I bought SOFI. I bought PayPal. So all those things I picked up. Probably could have got SOFI for cheaper if I would have waited a little bit, but I just wanted to pick some up. I know it's getting shit on right now, but they had a great quarter, and I think Anthony Noto's brilliant. And their $750 million offering 2029 stuff it's just stupid that sold off as aggressively as it did. It doesn't even make any sense. So I'm going to pick it up. The only risk there, I think, is the macroeconomy not doing well. And rates coming down should be beneficial to banks. I don't know why people think it's the other way around, but it actually helps open up lending. Sure, they're making money off of interest. They'd much rather make money off of lending. Trust me. Way more interest, way more money flowing in. They want liquidity. That's where they thrive. So anyway, so I think SoFi is a good deal too. I'm happy with everything. I'm just happy for anybody who stuck with it and bought miners. Finally, you get an up day, and hopefully you get a bunch more of those. Now, if Bitcoin shits the bed, let's just look here. So Bitcoin, let me just pop this up real quick. Bitcoin is still meandering. Right? We're seeing the spinning top. We're just hanging out. It could still drop. But here's the thing. I don't think it's the end of the world, even if it does. If it does drop, I think we start to find support on the 50 moving average, most likely. I mean, we found it here. Found it here for a minute. Then it was the 100. So worst case, I don't see 48. I can't even say worst case. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think there's too much liquidity. I haven't seen today's numbers, but I think there's too much liquidity. And I will be. Oh, hey, real quick. I'll be doing Saturday and Sunday. So first off, tonight, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, I will be with Tanner, Future Invest. We'll be going over PayPal and whether it can still hit 100. He's very insightful. I don't know if Roy's going to jump on there. Roy is brilliant. If he doesn't have Roy on there, or Crossroads, people know him as, who knows? Maybe we'll add him because he's very insightful. He's the details guy, and he spends a lot of time on PayPal too. So maybe all three of us will end up talking. I don't know. We'll see. It's for sure Tanner and myself at 7:30 p.m. Central. And then starting tomorrow and Sunday, I will be doing, I'm not sure about the exact time, but I'll be doing a morning show for whoever wants to attend. Just for the people who, if I don't get your stock or you're not available during the week to be on the market recap, I'm going to do it Saturday and Sunday too. That way people can have their stocks looked at in that time frame, since I have so many members now. And again, so for stock requests, here's how it works, guys. Put the $ and then the stock symbol, because it makes it easier for me to see it. And then once I publish the video, you can immediately add a comment right away. I start at the top and I work my way down. I don't make it to the end because there's so many people. And I think today there were like 100 people that joined. So it's not getting smaller. But again, I'm doing a Saturday and Sunday slot. Add your comments at the beginning. And then that way we can look up these stocks. And we don't just do TA. If it's a decent looking setup, a lot of the times I look at financials first just to figure out if it's shit or not. So again, that's kind of the thing. And then I do have viewpoints. I'm biased, and I could be wrong. So if I am, add stuff in the comments. If I'm missing things, add stuff in the comments. We should all learn from each other. This isn't just me, okay? All right, anyway, so I still think that Bitcoin is going to $92,000 before the halving. We'll see if I'm right? That's another 35% from here. That'd be cool. All right. Yeah, for other people that are new, I kind of walk through this. I start off with my portfolio, then I look at indices and macro stuff. Then I move on into news events, and then it's after my stocks that I commonly covered that people might want to see for the day. Then I move on to requests, just so you know. So again, there were a lot of things hit today, but here's what I love. Rotation. I love rotation. Semis didn't do good. AMD did all right. It was up. NVIDIA was kind of flat. Intel was flat. SMCI was down 5.46%. I like that stuff. I like that because the S&P was down 0.65%. The NASDAQ was down 1.15%, but the Russell closed up 0.4%. So I love to see a little bit more market breadth. There's been this narrative about how market breadth hasn't existed. It's not true. I mean, you can always weigh things differently and paint a picture where it looks like there isn't market breadth, but it doesn't mean it's reality, okay? And we're seeing market breadth. We saw the Russell today, and I'll just show you this real quick. We saw the Russell do something cool today, right? It closed above the fib. So I said, hey, we could back test because we haven't gotten above this and actually held it. This is the first time going all the way back here that we've actually held this thing since, what, 2021, right? Is that right? Let's look here. We had one day above, drop down. This is our first time. Yeah, I mean, well, no, not really. There's a few. But here's the thing. If we could do it for the week, then we're breaking some records here. And then I think Tom Lee's whole play about small caps taking off could finally be getting a foothold. And I think that that's the most likely scenario. So I'm excited about that. All right, so real quickly, and I didn't have a show yesterday. I won't go over those numbers, but basically we were seeing more pain in manufacturing, right? And then higher PPI data than expected. And PPI is producer price index. It means the cost of production goods. You don't want to see that. Even if the CPI is high, preferably the PPI is lower. So consumer price goods, if the CPI is high, then that means maybe you still got pricing power on the consumer, and so that means margins could be good for some of these companies. But when the PPI is high, that means their base costs are high too, and we don't like to see that. We want to see PPI down. CPI can meander here for a while. I could give a shit, but preferably producers have less cost, and that's what you want to see. But today we saw some notable things, right? We saw export prices year over year lower than expected, but rising, right? And this is kind of good because we had the trough down in June of 2023, And that's when like we hit the max bottom. That's when people are like, oh, hey, maybe this disinflation thing is real, that Jesse was talking about since, December of 2022. Maybe that's actually real because we're seeing things just drop through the floor. And so export prices were another good sign of that, right? Like you could see that export and import were drawing down quickly. And so it looked like, hey, maybe inflation's under control, which I still believe. But so we're not at zero. So we're not seeing, the prices year over year inflating, but we are seeing them recovering, partially because of how high they were before. Now, import, it looks very similar, right? Ideally, though, what we would see is we would see export prices continue to decline at a strong rate, and import prices continue to drop at a strong rate, and then export prices continue to like stay moderate, because we want to be able to export. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Daniel, for the 10 gifted memberships. That's awesome, dude. Because we'd like to see that we could still have pricing power in the world, but that the world, especially China, does not have pricing power over us, right? Like they're having to drop their prices. That would be ideal. Right now, we're seeing both of them recovering. So it just means inflation, it's again with that narrative of pushing off inflation. I will say this though, CME for June is still good. May, no. March, definitely not. We're not lowering rates. But for the Fed Watch tool here in June, we still have a 2-to-1 odd of rates getting lowered, pretty much. What is it, 56%? So it's getting a little worse than 2-to-1 now. So it did actually shift even closer to us not dropping. But this is down 25 bips. This is down 50. But I still think we're dropping in June. I thought we were going to do that for March. I gave up on May real quickly. But I do think that we're dropping for June. So we'll see what happens. Capacity utilization was in line. Let's look at this real quick. Capacity, just so you know what this is, capacity utilization rate in the U.S. was steady at 78.3% in February. It's the same as a downwardly revised 78.3% in January. Below market forecast of 78.5. The rate is now 1.3 percentage points below its long-run average. So we're below average for capacity utilization, which means these manufacturers aren't firing on all cylinders. You can read the rest of this on your own. Thank you, Wes, for joining. Now, let's look here. I tell people I skip the month-over-month stuff because it's noise to me. When I look at this doesn't tell me shit. This is like a heartbeat. Doesn't tell me shit, right? But if I look at industrial production year over year, and I'm looking at year over year numbers, is that year over year? Oh, that is. But the way this is gauged, it still sucks. This isn't a great example. Let me go back. So industrial production, I'll just say that one was down 0.7%, and they forecasted 0.4. Again, manufacturing, production, all this stuff looks weak. Michigan consumer sentiment. This is an easier one. This is the stuff where it's more visual, which I like. You can see that we're still low. You can see here that, what was it? It was forecast for 76.9. We got 76.5, so lower than expected. Started to drop down. We have had a nice tick up, though. So if anything, it looks like, 2008 heading up. It looks like the end of the 70s heading up. It looks like 1990 heading up. So it looks like a time of rebirth, not one that's rolling over. So I'd say this is still a good sign. And again, I think global liquidity is going to keep pushing everything higher. So this is an example where, let me see, it's manufacturing production year over year. So this is still percentage based. So we're still going to get kind of a flat gauge here. Let me just do a 10-year. So again, you can see the COVID ravage on this for manufacturing production. We're still under zero, which means we're in decline. But again, it looks like we could go higher, but we are lower than forecast, which is not great. Let's see here. 5-year inflation expectations, 2.9%. That's not bad. Not much to see there. Current conditions, 79.4. Slightly higher than expected. Consensus is 79.2 and forecast is 79.3. So current conditions are actually a little better than expected. We like that. And let me just zoom in here. And again, this is one of those trends where it looks like it's going up, and this one actually outperformed. Consumer expectations, lower than expected. Probably looks similar to the other graph that we just showed. That's about it. So again, we're seeing weakness in the economy. We're seeing weakness in manufacturing. We're seeing weakness in industrial. We're seeing weakness in expectations. Current conditions are a little bit better. The New York State Manufacturing Index, I think I overlooked this, but I shouldn't. So this is New York State's, segment of manufacturing, and it is horrendous. It was supposed to be -5 forecast, -7 consensus. It was almost 21, -21. Not great. New York State is having pain and suffering. I don't know how much of that's international business. I'm assuming it is, but not a great number at all. Again, you can kind of see the pandemic and how that was just such a V shape. But we've been grinding down for a while. Really want to see this break above 0 and start to hold. We want to see expansion, not contraction. And if we look at 2008, we have suffered greatly. Between the pandemic and this, these sectors are much weaker. But again, they had that pop over 2021. So there was some weakness to be expected. We just want to see it recover. And this, again, manufacturing and industrial weakness, even potentially the services economy. If we start to see weakness in this, the Fed is going to start to give less shits about their inflation number, especially if they know, which it is, that a lot of this is shelter components and things that are falling down long term and will be, because they'll want to save the economy. The last thing they want to see when you're as indebted as we are, and with it, the world being as indebted as they are, is a drastic slowdown, because then the money printer has to go burr, and it's totally counterintuitive to what they're trying to accomplish with keeping inflation down. So believe me, the same guy, Jerome Powell, who said inflation was transitory and then raised rates at the most aggressive rate in history, will also flip on a fucking dime and tell you, you know what? We're not so concerned about inflation and everything looks great, but we are going to start lowering rates. And he'll do that quicker than people expect. That's my take. All right. Fear and greed index. Yeah, there's a lot of members now. That's true. Greed, 70. Good number. I've said this for a while. We just keep grinding along here. Establishing higher lows. Very interesting. Looks like a tabletop, though. Doesn't look like a rounding top. So what are we doing from here, guys? I don't know. I can tell you this. I can tell you that S&P and NASDAQ deserve a break and want one. But I wonder if this is going to turn more into a rotation and less into a disaster. It seems like even with data that is not great, and with the view of inflation not coming down, or the lowering rates not occurring until June, and that weakening a little bit, maybe going to July, even with all this negative data, we're still not falling hard. The markets are actually okay. I made over $100,000 today. That's not the end of the world, guys. It's just not. Thank you, Siraj. You're awesome, dude. Appreciate it. 3 to 4 lines when you sold Mara. Can you explain in 3 or 4 lines why you sold? I sold Mara. I sold Mara because they have this slipstream protocol, and my friend Bob Burnett said that it's damaging to the Bitcoin network because of just the discovery and all these other things. It's kind of, look at the post. Look it up, and I'll tag it and I'll repost it again today. Let him explain it. It is technical in nature, but Bob is a private miner. He used to be the chief technology officer of a company called Gateway Computers. They had these little cow-spotted things that came from the Midwest. He's a brilliant man, and he's a personal friend of mine. And he has a private mining company, a rather large one, like I think tens of thousands of miners, right? Maybe more by now. And so I highly respect him. And if he says that what Mara is doing is damaging, and the fact that Mara has never, ever responded to my fucking posts. Now, I could get, like, even Sue from Hut, and I think Hut is a disaster. She was responsive, Sue Innes. She was great, right? And she was a great representative of that company. If a company gives a shit about their investors, when they say, hey, why does your pool not reflect what your hash rate is? And why did it go from, 29 exahash down to, 8 for a long time? What the fuck is going on? Please answer us. What are you at now? What's happening with your company? I like some of the stuff you're doing, but like, what's happening with this? And then they just don't respond. I don't know. I find that highly irresponsible. If you care about investors, maybe respond to them. And this could be a good investment this cycle. Whatever. I made a lot of money off of it last cycle. I made more money off of Mara than I did Riot. But here's the thing. Fred, the new CEO, I hope he's better than the old regime, because the old regime sucked. Last cycle, the reason I ended up bailing out of Mara and just being done with it was because they never met expectations. They didn't communicate effectively. Just a lot of things. And then there was the short report that came like a year ago. There's a lot of things with this that are weird. I gave them a second chance, and I still couldn't get anybody to even talk to me. I think that's irresponsible, and they don't seem to talk to anybody. So fuck them. Fuck them. And that's why I'm out, and I'm not going to talk about them much anymore. I'll look at the chart, and again, maybe they're a good investment. All these things, cool, awesome. Hope it works out. Hope people make money off of it. I've got no malice towards them, but I just have standards that have to be met. And again, when people I highly respect, who are brilliant people, who have done great things in their life, tell me that it's damaging to Bitcoin, I give a fuck about Bitcoin more than I do this company and more than I do money and investments. So, bye. Anyway, after that tirade, let's move on. But yeah, so the S&P, as you can see here, there's bearish divergence on the RSI, on the, I think this is the daily time. No, this might be weekly. No, it's daily. You can see some bearish divergence that's been forming for a while on the RSI and the MACD, even though we went up. And then we hit this fib level, and we've been grinding up against it. NASDAQ looks like that too. So I feel like we could see some rollover here with the big dogs, and maybe they start to filter into small caps. Maybe we see a rotation, right? I think that's what's going to happen. All right, this is interesting. Zero hedge. Every dollar in value gained since the Bitcoin ETF launch has been overnight when regular trading hours are closed. Isn't that funny? So they talk retail into selling during the day, and then they buy that shit up at night. Fun, huh? Gotta love that. Keep that in mind. Don't let people steal your money. Don't let them fear you out of markets so that later on they can take it all from you. Oh, one sec, Siraj. Thanks, Jesse. Price target on mass. I'll cover MSTR in a little bit here. I think MicroStrategy goes to 12,000. I think that's the number I was looking at, but for the entire cycle. All right, and again, the same kind of thing. The clockwork when are ETFs buying, you see these dips and then just like miraculous recoveries, right? Same shit. Not going to talk about PayPal because PayPal comes later. Oh, this is the post from my friend Bob. So I'll repost this again right now. And again, it gets a little technical, but I love Bob. Bob is one of the sweetest, kindest people and one of the biggest Bitcoin advocates I've ever met in my entire life. He came to a Bitcoin day here and he was talking to me way before that. And he's a stand-up dude. And so what he says, when he says something, and you got to have people you trust in your life, man. And people that when they say something, you're like, okay, well, that makes my job easier. Bob's that for me. All right. Not going to look at that. All right. MicroStrategy. This is beautiful. This is really cool. MicroStrategy's historical volume chart is quite the sight. It traded more than Amazon yesterday with $8 billion. Outrageous activity relative to its history. The spillover effect from the spot Bitcoin ETFs is an underrated part of this. The equitized BTC complex is doing over $20 billion a day in volume. We're dwarfing some of the biggest companies on the fucking planet. Do you see the difference here in volume? Again, I'm not great with math, guys. I'm a high school dropout, so I'm not really good with math. Can anybody tell me, does this number look higher than it ever has before? Does this look higher than the last cycle? Considering we haven't even had the halving yet? MicroStrategy is going to fuck shorts all day long. And if you don't follow Eric Balkanis, you should. He's great. There's a few of these guys that Bloomberg ETF guys, they're the ones that have given me the realization that Ethereum might not have an ETF coming soon. But you guys need to follow Eric. He's got some cohorts too. I'll try and find their names, but follow him. He's well worth your time. You'll learn a lot about what's going on with the ETFs. There's a few really great guys like that. All right, so I think it's time. To go do some stocking. Let's look at my stuff first, because that's how it works. We do my stuff, then we do your stuff. All right, so I'm going to pull up the Palantir, and I know there's a bunch of Palantards that are feeling pretty retarded for not listening to me. That and don't get me wrong, I've waffled. I thought maybe there was hope getting to 30, but then the S&P inclusion didn't happen, and I think that would have been a good sign to people to maybe, I don't know, take some bucket profits. But some people don't like taking profits. They would rather idolize stocks and people. And don't get me wrong, I love Alex Karp. I think he's great. But I want to give him much more. Let me put it this way. I want to have much more of his company, but devote a ton of capital to him. So I'm going to do that later, right? I'm going to do that after I make a ton of money off of crypto. I'm going to do that after I make a ton of money off of my fintech plays, maybe ARK Genomics, maybe some of that new one that we did on the members only feed. Then I'll devote more capital to them, because I do think that Palantir is quickly becoming a hedge against war, and I do worry about war. War is happening on a lot of fronts. If you can't see that, you're probably just not paying attention, and shit, I can't blame you, because it's depressing. But China wants war. Well, I don't think China does. The Chinese people are great for the most part, at least the ones that aren't CCP. Those people are assholes. But in Xi Jinping, he's trash. And that's why they take millions of Muslims and imprison them and cut out their organs while they're alive so that they can sell them on the black market. People don't realize this, but if you need new body parts, you can actually special order them from China. It's great if you're in need of organs. Probably not great for the people they're taking them from. So when people wonder why I don't invest in Chinese-related stocks, it's not that I'm racist or hate Chinese people. It's that I'm not a piece of trash. And I want the CCP to lose, and I want them to be overthrown by their own people, and I want to see democracy prevail there again, because it almost did. It almost did, and they got a taste of what freedom was like, and now it's all being taken away from them. Anyway, this isn't really about finance, is it? I apologize. But war is a potential thing, right? And today we closed underneath the previous support zone for Palantir, which is why I think we're headed into the $21 range. And I might actually start buying some stock in that range. I might actually do that, because it's a great company and Alex is great. And all the people that love it and idolize it, maybe too much, like I do with Tesla, they're right. It's a great company. All right, moving on. Let's look at other stuff. Square. I'll do Square real quick. I'm just going to roll through a few of these. I'll do these faster than my diatribe that I just went into a second ago. All right, so Square, again, still hitting peak resistance here. I mean, it wouldn't be insane for this thing to drop to 68 and fill this huge gap in the daily time frame, just because it's so huge. It's just so big. And the cap is getting pretty large, 50 billion. So again, it wouldn't be crazy. Might not, though. Might break above. If we break above and get above 90, I think it's off to the races for the 116 zone. There won't be much holding it back. But don't be surprised if we go back down and at least try and fill most of this gap where this volume starts to hit. Just don't be surprised if that happens. I got to remember my shortcut. You guys keep trying to teach me stuff. I'm such an old dog. Be 47 eventually here. So trying to hold on to my youth as much as I can. All right, cool. So PayPal. Oh, this thing's grinding, guys. This thing's grinding. I bought more calls today because, again, we got a two-plus year downward trend zone that we're hitting for the umpteenth millionth time and looking to establish above it for the first time in over 2 years. And if that happens, I mean, again, we already had one higher high here, right? We got a higher low right here still. If we get up here and we break above that and hit the fib at like maybe the 69 range, then we've got a second higher high. And that hasn't happened in a very long time. Like over here, guys, going back almost 3 years. Is that what we're at? Something like that. Close to 3 years ago. Seems like a big deal. You know, don't listen to me, though. What do I know? All right, Hood. I think Hood's probably back up again today, I'm guessing. Yeah, see, Hood is still very much on its path higher. Did a little back testing today. It didn't even hit the fib. So maybe it could grind down again, but I say it still looks strong. Down 78.62% from the all-time high. And the all-time high was too high. Let's just be real. Everybody was FOMOing into shit over here. So you almost need to count it at like maybe the 60s range. That's more fair. But I don't know. Again, I did a hood video with Tanner last week. Watch it. It's good. This company is great. We don't need to talk about too much. We're just buying our time till 30, guys. That's all it is. I wish I sold out too quickly. But when you're up like 500, 600, 700% on some of it, you start to feel greedy, you know? You don't know that yet, maybe on some of your trades, or maybe you do, but it becomes difficult not to sell. People have a problem buying when things are low. I can do that like it's fucking nothing. But selling, I start to feel greedy, and sometimes I sell too early. Again, I bought more SoFi today. I don't know, like $5,000 or $10,000 worth maybe, in calls and leaps. I'm probably still doing 2025. I really should do 2026. I think I might have started that. I don't know. Don't quote me. I'd have to look. But I do like, there's this support zone that I think we're hitting again. We kind of hit it before. If I zoom out here, I have not changed this. So we hit it before and we bounced out of it. Now we hit it again. We whipped up. We're above that downward trend line. Kind of hard to see here, but if I make this smaller and then maybe more opaque. Let's see, how do I even do that? Here. Yeah, okay. You could see where we were just right. I guess we were right underneath that line. So I think we get up above it next week. I really think this narrative around banking, I think it's going to flip. And when we start to think of lower rates are happening, I think banks take off as long as the economy isn't completely shit. And I don't think it will be, because I think global liquidity is going to feed it. Anyway, that's that. Let's move on. So I'm going to pull up one here, ARKG, and then I'll probably do some Tessera, and then I'll do MicroStrategy because everybody loves that one. And then I'll start looking at what you guys have next. So ARKG down, still down. I bought some today. We want to get above 31.81. That's when things start to look better, when we establish support up here. That's it. That hasn't changed. Moving on. Tesla real quick. I had some dupes. I need to clean out my links, man. And I'll start looking at chat again in a second. So I kind of clutter up this a lot with my other video I did a while ago, but I thought it was beneficial. We did get some bouncing today, so that's cool. We're still underneath this line, though, and I should turn this red, really, because it is now. So I expect lower prices. I bought some today. I don't remember. Maybe 10 grand or something. I don't know. Maybe it was less. Maybe that was yesterday. I just keep buying. I do expect us actually potentially to go down to the 140s. That's Tesla. And I expect us to maybe reject off this line. So I know Kevin was shorting it. He actually closed his short. I don't know if he reopened it again. Oh, and I'm trying a new indicator down here. It has to do with institutional ownership. I'm trying to make sure that, or institutional selling versus retail, all that kind of stuff. I'm trying to make sure I fully understand it before I start talking to it too much. But you might start to see this coming up in some different charts. A friend on X gave it to me. And if it does really well, I'm going to probably start promoting it. I probably won't get anything from it, but I don't give a shit, because if there's things that are valuable, I'm going to tell you what they are. Oh, and I am starting to play more with stock MVP. I'm probably going to do another thing with Tom Nash on Sunday, maybe. We might hang out too. But yeah, so keep going. All right, MSTR, and then I'll get to your guys' stuff. And I still got to figure out, I got to do that. Got to do that, like keeping one window open so I can keep up with current chat while doing the other thing. I'll try and get better at that. That'll be a goal for next week. It's like trying to teach an old dog new tricks. So it takes me a while. All right, so people are selling off MicroStrategy at after hours. I could see that being a thing, especially after, you got to remember this thing was down like almost like over 5% today, and then it went up 6.3%. That's a hell of a move. And just look at this rocket ship to the moon, man. I don't even know what to say here. It's stupid. And the short squeeze is only going to continue, because I don't know what we are right now. Let me see here. I don't know if this is down to the day. I need to make sure I understand short interest and make sure that I'm getting the current up-to-date information. I'm probably a little behind on it. But this says 17%. I'd say between 17 and 20. So these motherfuckers are going to get wrecked. Just wrecked. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to catch up. Oh, my God, you guys are insane. There's just so many members. I cannot believe this. I scroll back to the beginning here. Oh, my God. I got to make sure that somebody gave me a super sticker. Jason Crump. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for the $2. Albert. Hello, everyone. We'll miss the recap. So I'll ask a question now. What are your thoughts on Crowd at the price being an expensive stock after a massive run? Okay, I'm going to start there. Let's pull it up. I think I have this one, and I've looked at it a few times. So this should hopefully be fairly quick. I'm going to try and get really fast at reviewing these and then not rehash too much. So I think there's been a fundamental shift in this one, right? We went from not making any money and burning $40 million a quarter to making money and making $53 million a quarter. Now this is a $75 billion stock. Its cash is going up. That's great. Operating expenses are not crazy. Cash flow is strong, right? Let's look at estimates. Whoa, look at Q1 and Q2. For EPS at least, and EBIT. That's nuts. That's beautiful. So we're seeing some massive growth. I don't know a lot about the underlying company and what its future looks like. It looks like short interest is gone from this. It's probably been obliterated. Institutional adoption's high. Retail's decent, but still kind of small. So this isn't really found by retail. But if they start turning this into 100, 200 million, I mean, there's still $75 billion, man. That's so much. And yeah, I'm going to say no on this one. This gets a down vote. Here's why. We hit the golden retracement zone. The golden retracement zone. Where, crazily enough, this is Fibonacci stuff, guys. This is how things work in the Fib world, which controls a lot of the rules of the universe. This thing went up 300%. Yeah, Fibonacci is cool for macro to micro, whether it's like, you know, galaxies or whether it's down to like microscopic level stuff for plants and how they grow, or the way that flower petals are created. Like Fibonacci is everywhere. It's everywhere. And there are prevailing rules to it. And in the technical world, it is the most likely retracement zone. So that is something you want to know. And gosh, it sure looks like it's retracing, or at least getting ready to, right? Compared to all these other times in the past. And you can see a dip where we tested support and then we wicked down hard here. Let's look at the weekly. The weekly is a really good indication of that, right? You have this indecision candle, and then you just had a week where we have this bearish engulfing candle that just closed. So I would say this one could at least go back down to 280 and retest some of that. Again, it's just like their growth looks amazing, but maybe the 300% that it's up since December is that growth. Just like Palantir, when I was telling people, like, I don't know, guys, maybe 370% isn't a bad number for a year. Fucking crazy people. Anyway. But, you know, greed is greed, right? People want more. And I get it. I have so been guilty of that in my career. So I can't shit on people too much, even though I will. All right. CRISPR. This is coming from TD. So, I don't know. That's a pretty big dunk. Looks like we're trying to test off of volume. This is a $6 billion company, and I probably won't spend a lot of time in this one. But I think this is an ARK one. I'd rather just look at ARK. Can I just say that? They have like 50 fucking things in their fund, and I don't have to worry about companies not being profitable, because who gives a shit if 45 of them fail? If the other 5 or if even 2 do well, I make a ton of money. And it's got its options are acting as a multiplier. If you haven't seen my ARKG video, you should look at that. Look at the options video. Understand how to look this stuff up. Check out the options calculator and see what kind of wicked returns. I can get 10x the underlying, man. 10x. 8, pretty easy. 7 to 8. So why would I fuck around with individual stocks and all the risks that they entail? Because again, sure, these guys made money. Are they going to keep making money? I don't know. I don't have time for this. EPS shows negative. Looks like revenue's dropping again over the next 2 quarters. Like, why not just get a basket from a VC firm. Like, that's what ARK Genomics, Kathy Wood, people love to shit on her, but she's kind of brilliant for a number of things. She told you about Tesla. She told you about Bitcoin years ago. She told you about Tesla before it went up 3,300%, when nobody was listening to her and laughing at her. She can suck at some stocks, man, but she's a brilliant lady. And she basically democratized genomics for you. She said, hey, you want to invest like a VC? Here's a shit ton of companies. Most of them will fail. But if some of them do really well, you'll make a shit ton of money. And then you can get an options multiplier on top of that. So that's my diatribe on this one. I find it hard to support a $6 billion valuation on a company that cannot make money and that is diluting their shares. And again, like, yeah. So I would rather own ARK, which will buy the shit, and a bunch of other shit. That's my take there. And some other time here, I'll pull up ARK so you can see their fund and like everything they're invested in. But I don't love this, this is pretty sharp. Maybe it finds support here, or maybe it grinds here and then it goes lower. I don't know. But I would just I don't have to have individual company risk by owning ARKG, to be clear. Hi, Jesse. Psyched to be here. Love what you do on X, even more on YouTube. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, Jason. I would love to see how you do a video where you compare deep out of the money beta versus in the money bets from the same expiration date. Illustrate how the multiple differ. Yeah, we could do that sometime. I kind of do that in my options video. And you guys, I try to teach people to fish, right? So I would tell you, watch the video. You'll learn probably a lot of things you don't know, because I've had people that have been doing options for years and they're like, what the heck? I didn't know any of this. Like, I didn't understand the concept of extrinsic value and intrinsic value. I didn't realize how the shorter dated ones that are even like 0-day shit, weekly, monthly, that they're horrible and that they're going to screw you because of the time frame, because time is your friend with options. You want that because theta decay becomes violent. It becomes violent from two things: out of the money. So if I'm doing out of the money, I sure as hell am giving myself a lot of time, because out of the money and not enough time is doom. It's destruction. So if I'm going a little bit out of the money, or sometimes a decent amount, because I really believe in this company and I think there's a wicked pop that's happening, I will give myself 2.5 years, 2 years, just for it to play out. And if I didn't do that with PayPal in May and June of last year, I would be broke from those trades. Like, I won't say broke, but they would be wiped out, right? But no, I gave myself 2 years. And now I'm only down 25% on those. And because a dollar cost into them. And who knows, maybe I'll make $1 million in the next 3 months off of that play. And I'll sure as fuck get out if I do. If I make $1 million or $2 million, buy. Moving on. I've already been buying January 2026. So I bought myself more time. So if I make a wicked bounce because PayPal crushes it over the next quarter, maybe 2, that's my max, then I'm out. I'll buy stock. I'll buy more options in the future. Probably stock. And then I wait for it to drop, and then I buy options. Anyway, that's kind of it. It's a long thing, but yeah. Say, for example, based on your analysis, you believe Tesla will be a certain range in 12 to 24 months if you buy one contract deep out of the money and another deep in the money, both with the same expiration date. Yeah, they will differ, man. You'll get much less returns from the one that's more in the money, and it'll be safer, and you'll be more likely to win. So it's all about that. But that's why the options calculator is great, because it gives you a visual representation. So if you know roughly what the low will be for the stock, and you know roughly what you think the high target can be, and then you know what time frame you're giving yourself, you can visually see that in the options profit calculator. Optionsprofitcalculator.com, I think it is, right here. So just go to this, but watch that options video. You got to. All right, moving on. Hey, Jesse, it's tap TA and macro insights on the 10-year. Specifically, is there any significance of the 200, 150-year averages converging right underneath us on the daily? I don't give a shit about the bond market right now, man, at all. The bond market is so passé. There's stuff you need to realize. Bonds, nobody cares. They're like boomer investments. They're tied to a government that can't balance a budget and that is paying higher interest on its debts, or I should say a larger portion of its interest is going towards things than like our military, which 20 years ago, if I would have told you that, you would have thought the world was fucking collapsing. But now it's just normal. So bonds are not great. I've thought about that a lot. I've listened to brilliant people talking about the bond market. And I don't love it as an investment right now. I do think that our economy will probably be saved by automation, AI, autonomy, people maintaining their wealth with Bitcoin, people that have been able to maintain their wealth with real estate, they're up 35%. You know, 2/3 of the country owns real estate. So if that's true, those people have gotten richer, not poorer. But the bond market, do you think the government's doing a good job? I mean, even if you're a Democrat or Republican, does it really fucking matter? Do you think like we've done a good job and we're one of the best in the world? So I don't care about the inversion. The inversion thing is so fucked right now. It's so out of, we're in completely new waters right now from so many different aspects. I don't want to say this time is different, but it's hella different. We didn't have a pandemic. We didn't have Bitcoin. We didn't have we didn't have technologies exploding. We didn't have China collapsing while every other country around it gets to benefit, including Mexico and India, from its collapse as companies move to them. There's just so many things. Even the guy who invented the whole, inverted yield curve creating recession thing initially said, well, I think it's fucking broke. And then he came back and said, no, I think it's getting ready to happen. But he doesn't even know anymore, man, because there's so many things that are different now. So I just don't care about that stuff. Somebody asking for sound. I think I already looked at this one, but we'll pull it up. I'm going to do financials first, actually. I'm switching this up. I want to look at financials first, because if financials suck, then I'm not going to pay much attention to it. All right, so this guy, $2.8 billion. That's a lot of money for a company that's losing $16 or $18 million a quarter. What's their estimates? Guidance, still losing money. Revenue kind of flattened out. I think it sucks without looking at the chart. My 2 cents. It has the word AI in it. If I don't think anybody gives a shit. But that's my 2 cents on it. Here, if it's up, I'll do this. I'll actually just look at it when I hit my little thing here. All right. I will pull it up. What the hell? We'll see how it's doing. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out of this stock. This has AI in its name. It's the only reason it is where it is. Yeah, I will draw a fib retracement on this one, just so if we can see if it's maxed out. But get the fuck out. It hasn't made it to the .618. Maybe that happens. But this thing's up 450% since February. Do you think maybe this is not driven by fundamentals? Do you think maybe this is just because it's on the AI hype train? There better be a real good reason why this deserves to be here. I would get the fuck out. That's me. I'm holding back here to not shit on this more. BITF seems to be underperforming. Thoughts? Yes, they are. They are. BITF. And again, I'll be doing this stuff on Saturday and Sunday too. So anybody who doesn't get caught up here, when I pop those feeds up, get in early and add your comments right away. And I'll do it on X first. I'll announce it, and then I'll publish it. And, just if you have the alerts on, you'll get to see that. And that way you can get your stuff answered quicker, okay? Because we're getting more people here. Now, Bitfarms, you can see they took a hit. They front-loaded loss, right? So people haven't seen the pop up in their net income that they're hoping for. And there's share dilution, a large amount of share dilution that occurred. Their cash position's sitting pretty good now, probably from all the share dilution. But their expenses are things are okay with these guys. They're not great. They will be getting better, and you can see their forecast is guiding up, but they're not even guiding towards net profit yet. So this thing is a laggard. This is my least held position outside of WGMI, just to give you some perspective. This is my lowest mining position. I still think it'll do good because there's this rising tide thing that happens, but I would expect CleanSpark and Cypher. Let's do Cypher as a comparison here in CleanSpark. CleanSpark is like the Cadillac. And then you got like Mara, they got a huge stack. They're gonna do good too, right? But they're massive in market cap size. They're like the biggest. So that will cap their returns because the larger you are, the harder it is to move higher. Takes more cash. Now these guys had a negative cash flow. Their Bitcoin production was up. Their mining hash rate has went up a little bit to 7.4. They had a net income profit. They had dilution too, but they actually showed a profit. And they've got a pretty aggressive expansion schedule. And they're stacking aggressively on Bitcoin. So here's the thing I like about these guys. I think it was smart to dilute shares at this point. They should have been doing this more a while ago. All these companies should have been. Dilute the fuck out of the shares. Do that. Don't sell your Bitcoin now, right? Isn't this the Michael Saylor world? In the bear market, you hold the Bitcoin that you mine, you dilute your shares, take a hit on that stuff, dilute them, but you got to balance it. It's not like you could just dilute all of it and then the shareholders are effed. That doesn't work great. So it's a balancing game. But I love what they're doing here now. Moving the stack from 13.66 million to 33 million makes me happier. This is the game you want to play. So I think that is another reason why. And in Cypher, let me just pull this over real quick. So Cypher too, here's another thing they got going for them. Beat to hell and back. But look at that wick. Look at that bounce off of peak volume. Looks strong. Once we break and turn 388 into support, it's a quick trip to $6, guys. It's a real quick trip. So this one, and this is a small cap. It's, well, I mean, I should say this. It's $1.05 billion. So, and Bitfarms is small too. So these, when you're looking at a Mara that's like 6 billion or close right now, like, or I guess Mara's down to 5.17 billion, or you're looking at CleanSpark that's at 3.45 billion, even though these don't have a stack, people get excited because they look at them as cheap, right? And even just the dollar amount of their shares is lower. There are so many people that don't even know how stocks work. They don't know that you should look at market cap. So these small caps will drive hard, and it just takes less liquidity when you're a third the size or a sixth the size of some of these big caps, or way smaller than a MicroStrategy. So these things will be more violent pumping to the upside. Keep that in mind, but Bitfarms is a laggard. All right, let's go to new. People love new. New is a great, and I probably won't talk about that newer trade on market recap for a while. I'm going to wait a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. But new just broke over the .786 fib. But that play was like a Latin American market one, right? Or at least a decent amount of it. Now, this is a great sign. It looks like this wants to break through its all-time high, which is at 1229. And this thing's got operating at a premium, but this is probably one of the best run companies for banking on earth right now as far as expansion goes. I mean, there's a reason my buddy Tanner likes this one. I will show this one to you real quick and then we'll move on. But that's it. They're going to break through the all-time high. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they do that. I mean, look at this growth. 2020. What is that? I can't even see the revenue. And then today, $2.2 billion. I don't know what to say here, guys. Net, 361 million. Cap, 54 billion. But at this rate of growth, I mean, their PE's at 54. That's super high for a bank in my mind. But look at the rate of growth. Like, it might be overvalued, but when when one employee makes you $1.13 million, does it matter that much? A couple of quarters later, they go from undervalued to where if the stock doesn't go anywhere, they're valued or overvalued to valued accordingly. When your revenue growth can go 125% in a year. So they work their way into that growth. Eventually they'll top off and some of the premium will come out. But that could take years. That's new. I wouldn't do options on them because they've went up so fucking much. I just want to throw that out there. This thing was $3 and now it's $11.65. So I wouldn't do options on this, guys. Oh, that's not lined up right. I should fix that. Yeah, something's weird here. Here, let me actually draw this the right way. Something got broke. So ignore my comment on the fib there. Because we need to get it right. Or is that because the daily and weeklies are that divergent? No, okay. I actually... Once we have a major retrace, I'll be able to draw a nice trend-based fib extension. But okay, so yeah, just go into all-time highs. That's the chart. I'm gonna lock that real quick. Yep, it's locked. Okay, we're good to go. Moving on from new. Can you take a look at Wolf? I'll look at Wolf's financials. I don't remember liking Wolf. And there's usually a reason why I don't like stuff. Sometimes I'm wrong. But these guys don't hold Bitcoin. I don't know. Maybe they started to. Everybody's starting to. Yeah, no, I guess they did. It's just super tiny. Super tiny. It's so cute. $610,000. That's adorable. It's adorable. So I don't like the fact that, you know, things are leveling off here. I do think they have some strong expansion plans. Let me see what they're at. Let me pull up Wolf. And this is my buddy Sebastian Skis. He hasn't yelled at me yet for pulling this up all the time. I get this from his Patreon. I personally think this is well worth it. I would, like, I'm not giving this to anybody. You got to pay yourself. But he's got every miner in here. And the stuff he tracks is stupid. But look at this, no hodl. So that the FASB accounting rules that went into effect that are benefiting a lot of big miners, like I'll show you in a second, like CleanSpark and Mara, they aren't helping these guys. And they do have expansion plans. Oh, I guess they're not aggressive. I hate that too. 7.9 exahash right now. They want to go to 8.4. I think that's fucking stupid. If you're not expanding in this market right now, you will be left behind. There's some other stuff here. Miners. Speed is everything. This is what's benefiting them right now. I don't know why he has these listed in red. I might have to see one of his newer videos. That's new to me. But the 140 exahash or the 140 hash rate is good. 151 is good. 120 is good. The hundreds are probably going to need to be deprecated eventually. Right now, because Bitcoin's price is high, they're doing all right. But I don't love this, man. Like, he has it listed as undervalued. But to me, there is so much value that comes with having Bitcoin holdings at the bottom of a bear, when I think that Bitcoin, from its current price levels, could 3x. Like, why wouldn't you have a growing balance sheet? Because that benefits you and it helps your accounting. And who doesn't want better accounting when you're, you know, making money off of revenue? Because you double dip, right? If you already have a big stack and you have a strong hash rate, and revenues are increasing because the price went up and the difficulty can't expand at enough of a rate, you got to realize the difficulty rate expansion is half of what it was last cycle, which was half before that. That's how these halvings work. They work towards difficulty too. So it's harder for difficulty to rise and hash rate to rise at the same percentage it was before. So as the price starts to explode here, these revenues will look pretty juicy. Because again, the difficulty isn't raising at the rate people think it is. Most people don't like to do math and figure this shit out. But I highly suggest you do. Because it's beneficial to you. Anyway, that was my rant there. So I don't love these guys because they just don't they don't look as nice. They have no expansion plans and they don't hold Bitcoin. Fuck them. My 2 cents. Could be wrong. Maybe there's stuff. I'm probably not. I'm wrong about a decent amount of things. I'm probably not wrong on that. Global Development Inc. I don't know what this is. They have, it's an OTC. I can't even see what cap. All right, let me just see. I'm going to see if there's anything I can actually see from this. GDVM. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. I can't. Global Development. Yeah, there's nothing for me to look on these. I don't know what kind of investment this is. I'll look at your comments later. But yeah, I don't know what I'm looking at. I can't even pull it up. There's no earnings. I don't know what I can tell you on this. Company doesn't provide paid dividends. I don't even know. I don't know what this is. I can't look it up. Let me know what it is, and maybe I'm missing something here. I'll save it. But Alpha, hi Jesse. Could you take a look at BTDR? Okay, I can take a look at that. This might be one that's better. Let me look at it over here. So this is another Bitcoin miner. I think I got, this wasn't showing up in here, but I talked to my buddy. Yeah, and Alejandro fixed it. He's so great. I love this site. All right, so revenue hasn't really went anywhere. I don't love that. I don't love that they're not keeping up. 3 years and the revenue's lower. Fuck that. I do like that the net income is not horrible. Do they have Bitcoin holdings? Do these guys have Bitcoin holdings? If they don't, what are their expansion plans? Let's go back to our chart. Okay. They have no Bitcoin holdings. They aren't hardly expanding at all. Fuck them. Moving on. Wow, so many new members. Yeah, I know, dude. It blows my fucking mind. All right, Coin. We'll do Coin. There are a lot of new members. I actually did not expect that at all. All right. And yeah, I could be wrong about these miners. I doubt it. I doubt it. I used to be a miner. I had a warehouse. Wasn't huge, but I spent $100,000 on it, man. So it's a lot of money for me. And so I do try and take some time to understand mining, and I do get the difficulty, and I get the fact that, you know, rates have to be right, and I get all the aspects that are really, really important about mining. I do get that. I'm not saying this is somebody who does not know what the fuck they're talking about. Again, one of my good buddies literally has a private mining firm that has tens of thousands of miners and was the chief technology officer of Gateway Computers back in the day. He knows his stuff, and I've had great conversations with him. So I feel like I have a pretty good, strong understanding about miners, more than a lot of people that talk about them. All right, so Coin, it's a hell of a bounce, man. It needs to get over this fib. I don't know why I have these fibs so light. Let me clean this up a little bit. I'm going to move this to a 4 so it's more... Whoa, dotted lines? Must have been on an acid trip when I did this one. There we go. All right, let's do this. That's weird. Maybe 4 is too much now that I don't have. Let's go to 2. Yeah, that's better. All right, so I'd like to see us get above this other fib line again. This has went up 650%. Here's the thing. I like MicroStrategy better because Coin's going to have good revenues. 7 out of 9 ETFs have this. But look down here, man. Look at this crazy, like, MACD. It's getting ready to flip down. And then you have divergence that goes back at least to November on the daily. What does the weekly look like? This looks like pretty toppy, dude. And unlike MicroStrategy that can just squeeze the shorts, squeeze the life out of them, while you buy more Bitcoin that goes up in price, that only devastates them more, Coin does not have that benefit. So, when people were asking me, like, Coin, MicroStrategy, Bitcoin miners, I would be like, MicroStrategy for the sureness of it. For returns, I would say Bitcoin miners, and then like last place in both categories, I would put Coin, just to give you some idea. And their revenues will explode, and they'll get a higher multiple, and they'll probably get a bump when that time comes, and that could be as soon as like a couple months from now. But short term, I think MicroStrategy is still the better play. I think you let this one play out and fall a little bit because their guides aren't that great. And it is a $56 billion or $58 billion company that if you look back over the last 2 years hasn't made dick. It's just lost money. So, yeah. So, I mean, I would rather be in Hood. All right, let me go down here. What do we got? Yeah, upgrading your channel. Good work. Thank you. Hi, Jesse. Learning a lot from you. Can you take a look at Clove? I smoked Clove cigarettes a few times. Disgusting. Do not recommend. Clove is like a financial services one, right? Clover Health Investments. Health investments. What does that mean? Wow. Double bottom. Huh. Interested. Let's pull them up. You have me interested. Takes a lot. All right. I don't like revenue. I do like that their debt is gone. I like that they're not bleeding money as much. 41 million is still a lot in a quarter, though. And I don't. Let's look at their guide. Their guide doesn't look super great. I don't love it. It's great that we're down here. Had a good bounce. I don't give a shit about it unless there's a fundamental reason why I should. If you can tell me in the chat, I do look at it later. The channel is going to moon with a... Yeah, it is, yeah. Okay, so I'm getting caught up with some of the comments from earlier. Thanks to the members only bid. Yep, you're welcome. I might have to hire... Yeah, that's me. BRSK, possible short, under 200 MA. Financials, I don't know, understand yet, though. Okay, BRSK, so let's look at it. First off, let's see if it... I don't know if I've done that one. So I'm just going to... I'll duplicate a chart if I need to. I'm going to look and see if this one's been going up a lot. I still have a list of shorts. I got a list of longs from you guys. the one that I did the members only video for is the only one that's really intrigued me about thus far. So this is Versic Analytics. It's a $33 billion cap. Let's look at it from a financial standpoint. Is that VRSK? Is that what we had? Yeah, okay. All right. So these guys are consulting service. They have no short interest, massive institutional adoption, buying back tons of shares. Revenue took a hit a while ago. They're printing 173 million pretty consistently. Pretty decent amount of debt, but I don't know how it's structured. Cash flow is positive, operating expenses flat. Estimates. Revenue's going to start to climb again. That's good. Highest EPS we've seen in a while. So it looks like these guys have had problems. Looks like they're getting better. It's weird that the stock didn't really take a hit. I don't know if these guys see something I don't. The weekly is interesting. Feels like it could break down a little bit. I don't know if this would be worth it from a short play, but I can add it to a list. Because I do think that that's kind of interesting. I'll check it along with my others. I just didn't, and I told people in the other video too, the members only one, I didn't create a list of things for people to short because I don't think that's a good idea right now. I actually think Bitcoin's a better hedge. So if you're worried about war, maybe Palantir will be a good hedge. If you're worried about everything, I think Bitcoin's a great hedge right now. Maybe in a year it isn't, right? Like maybe in a year it's not. You know, maybe in a year it's not. If we went up, if we're at $280,000 in Bitcoin, I'm probably going to tell you that's not a great hedge over the short term, and that there's other things. And then maybe I'll be interested in bonds. I know, but it's all about timing, right? Like there's timing to things. All right, things are going. So I don't know yet, but I'll take a look at it. Channel's going to the moon. Thank you, ABC. Jesse, do that. Hire some. Yeah, okay, cool. I will. Bro, you're going to need a separate channel for alphas. And yeah, right. Wouldn't that be crazy? Jesse, what do you think? What do you think of the Choose Rich guy on X? I don't know him. Is he that weird guy with the big nose? Is he like a crypto guy? Anyway, whatever. By the way, I like the idea of members only videos. Nice value at. Yes. Okay. I am trying to do that. I got to figure out I want to benefit the people who follow me the most. But if you're an idiot and you jump into the same options I do, and they're not liquid, it might not benefit you the way I want it to. So like, just be smart. And there's always time. Like when I give you these ideas, I'm not going to release public videos for weeks, maybe even a month. We'll see. Right now I've got it set out weeks. I might push it out and just make it a month or something. We'll see. So you got plenty of time to find an entry is all I'm saying. And I will be on that one that I talked about. They've got earnings on Mondays. So we'll be looking at those on Monday, and that'll be a members only video too. All right. Would have been nice if BTC had stayed above 70 at the end here. Yeah, I still think it's bullish. Aw, dang, here's a meme of his name, NFT Nick or something. A lot of crypto accounts had an opinion. Oh, I think I know who you're talking about. He's the guy with the weird nose and face, right? Like, I don't want to say that. And, like, my face isn't great either, but yeah, I think I know who you're talking about. He seems like a fucking scammer douchebag, man. Like, that's the last person I'd want to fucking follow. He seems like a guy that gets a video on Netflix talking about how he fucked a bunch of people and somehow makes money on Netflix and isn't in prison, even though he, like, scammed shitloads of people out of their money. Don't stay away from people like that. If they're showing you, I can't say that because I like watches, so, but yeah, just stay away from people that are like telling you how rich they are in front of their pool and Lambo and stuff and aren't real. Like, I'll always be real. I am in my basement. I'm a high school dropout. I'm a wannabe macro guy. Follow people like that set expectations and then try and exceed those. Like, that's the people I'd follow. All right, Johnny, thank you for the tip, Johnny Salgado. Let's go 2024. We'll have an epic end, and 2025 won't be any different if you're taking advantage of beating up dogs. I think you're right. I think global liquidity has to stay high while people try and survive. If anything, when the Bitcoin cycle is over, I would be more worried. I have no more cash, so I hope it doesn't. Yeah, hey, that's cool, man. It happens. No sound, no sound. This is what happens when you start a video and you don't have sound in it. I'm gonna have to edit that out later. He's speechless. Yeah, that's never been a thing. Thank you for the other starter price. Okay, Tesla SoFi. Hi Jesse, I freaking love what you're doing for us. Can you make a video showing how you set up Bibs target? I did actually. There's a trading view video where I go over that. I can do a more advanced one. If you guys tell me in the trading view video, it's like trading view setup, but I cover like some basic TA stuff. If you guys could tell me what else you're missing in the comments there, I'll probably peruse back through that maybe in a week or two and see if I can do a newer version that kind of talks about a bunch of stuff. But that gives you a decent amount of like what trading view can offer and some of the technical indicators I use and how I use them. So check that out. Missing valuable information right now. I feel like I'm missing value. Yeah, sorry. Can't hear you. Sound. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. All right. Video looks good. PFE. I think it would be a nice setup potentially in the future. Okay. PFE. What if I did that one? I feel like I did. Let me see. It feels like it rings a bell. Yeah. Okay. All right. PFE. Wow, that's a hell of a fall. I don't love that. We're under the 200 moving average. That looks like shit. Let's go to this and see what PFE looks like from a fundamental stand. I don't like being under the... Oh, it's Pfizer. Fuck them. I don't love vaccinations, and I think this is yesterday's play, and the net income is negative now, and the estimates look like shit. Well, I mean, not great. Not expansionary, right? This play is over, and it's a $157 billion company that can barely make any money. I mean, they were making billions, and their forecasting might get to $1 billion or $2 billion. I don't know. It depends on their guide, man. Like, if you know the fundamentals, if you know that they've got something out there, or you know they've created another pandemic so that they can boost sales, then might be interesting. But otherwise... I think this is played out, dude. And that's why you've had this wicked drop. It's played out. Probably doesn't even start to find support in my mind till 21 or 17. Like, that's probably more realistic because it's 157 billion. If they can get back to billions in a quarter, then it's probably justified. But if they can't, they're at a 78 PE. 12.71 forward, but I would look at PE right now because of this loppiness or the lopsidedness. Anyway, that's that. MSTR I did. I bought more SoFi calls today. Good for you. So cheap. Yep. Q2 will be good too. SoFi, yeah, I think so. Wondering if you can look at LQDA. I don't know if I've done that one. Let me see. I'll try. Nope. Copy. Oh, just starting to get caught up to some of the chat. This is why I got to do weekends. You guys are keeping me busy, man. I'm going to be earning my income here. Hopefully I can get somebody. I'd really like to, want to grow the channel, but it'd be nice to have some people that can do basic research for me where I don't have to do it. Somebody like Roy. Maybe Roy or Tanner. Maybe eventually here I can help if I get big enough. Not that they won't outpace me, but, well, I mean, Roy doesn't even have a channel, so maybe I'll beat him. But maybe I'll get big enough where I can, like, have them do a lot of research because they're great from, like, looking at the financials and doing all kinds of stuff. All right, so we got all the volume underneath of us on this one. It's Liquidia Corporation. Let's look at what we have. What you doing, Liquidia? Liquidia. Sounds like a ghetto name. Or a sexual disease. Or maybe, like, some kind of, like... something Sims would or Hims would sell you to help with a sexually or get it up or something. There's no revenue and they're losing tons of money. Can we stop there? They made $4.5 million. They lost $27 million. I think that's it. What are their estimates? Oh, hey, that's interesting. If Q2 is real and not spotty, see, I prefer to see like a trend reversal that's clear. But that could be interesting. I still am willing to wait, though. Here's why I'm willing to wait. That's like 10 million in revenue, and these guys are burning 27, and they're a $1.2 billion company. So I would wait on this one to see what's coming. I wouldn't be like super interested in getting in now, especially after this recovery. So I'm a big no on Liquidia. Liquidia. Oh god, that's funny. All right. Wondering if you can look coming to a market soon with a drug. Oh, they got a drug coming soon, so that's why they haven't had it. Can 7x with 50% market share. CEO believes 89%, 90%. Data checks. He was CEO of a current market share drug. I just this is like a thing where if it had like an ARKG, I'd be interested. But I am just not a VC guy. Maybe in the future I will be, just like a philanthropic or something, and wanting to help companies out and give them a shot, especially if I like the leadership and what they're doing. But I'm not philanthropic right now. I am make money. I want to make money so that I can help companies like Tesla when people are being fucking stupid and they're saying that they're a shit company. I want to gobble that shit up and be like, Elon, take my money, do whatever you need to do. Fuck those people. That's what I want to do. I want to benefit companies. I want to benefit Bitcoin. When nobody wants to buy Bitcoin, I want to be the buyer of last resort. When nobody wants Palantir anymore, I want to be the buyer of last resort because they're helping protect our country and potentially the world. So that's the kind of stuff I think about. I don't want to be a VC guy right now. I don't have the patience for it. Taiwan Semiconductor. Yeah, I can pull them up. I like the company. I don't like the fact that China wants to eat them. And they're the much bigger brother, right? And logistically, we will have to go to war if that happens. And it wouldn't be pretty. And from a blockade standpoint, shipping chips will be hard. The whole chip sector would be hard. So, because they produce so much for the world. And China knows that. They know they got a timer. They know they got to go to war in 5 years. And they know they probably can't go to war for a year, maybe. So they got a timer set. So I can't recommend this. It's 643 billion. They have tons of, like, again, the chips as a whole might be a dangerous sector. That might be a good hedge against war in the future, because I mean, who the fuck is going to short SMC or Nvidia in a major way anytime soon? And if they continue to grow over like 3 to 6 months, then this could be a good hedge, man. The entire chip sector, especially Taiwan Semiconductor, because it would be fucking destroyed overnight. Revenues would drop by like 90%, 95%. Be pretty crazy. But yeah, so I just can't recommend it, man. I think the risk is too high. DOT. I can pull up DOT. I own DOT. I don't like looking at cryptos. I'm not going to lie, unless they're like the biggest of names. So this one's kind of like, yeah, okay, it's a bigger name. Thing I don't like about DOT is it came in hot, right? DOT hot, funny. But it came in with an insanely high cap in previous cycles. And then it wore down really quickly. But yeah, let's pull it up. And you'll see that probably in this chart. Maybe you won't. Oh, this is market cap. Let me see if I can find it better. Do you know what this traded on originally? I'll say maybe Binance. I need to see if I can find a good pair. How far back is this? September 20th. Does that sound right? I think that's right. I think that's the oldest of the old. But let me try just DOT Tether, maybe. Tetherus. That might be a better. No, okay. Or August of 2020. Is that the same one? I want to get the oldest of charts because then I can do a better job of drawing them. Yeah, see, Coinbase isn't the oldest. So let me see, what was the US dollar for this one? That's probably good. So US dollar pair on Binance. We hit peak volumes here. Let me see, what is this, March 2020? August 2020. I'm going to do a fib retracement because I don't really have the bottom of the last cycle. So I don't feel like I can really draw a trend-based extension just because I don't have enough. And maybe there's an older exchange where I can get that information. I don't know what it is, though. And I don't like to specialize in shitcoins. And yes, I consider everything that isn't Bitcoin a shitcoin. And I do invest in them. Got a lot of money in them. Like 400,000 or something. So I do like this on this one. I like the fact that there's no volume in here. Let's see what the weekly, if there's any divergence or anything. No, there isn't divergence. We actually went higher, it looks like. Yeah, this is probably good till the 15s. You could get a 50% off of this. At least to the 13s before you get like this little ripple in volume, right? But again, there's this thing, 93% of coins from one cycle to the other don't outperform Bitcoin. So make sure that you get the fast horse if you're talking old shit coins. And then after 2 cycles, 98% of them don't outperform Bitcoin, which means you have a 1 in 50 chance of outperforming Bitcoin. So if you're not picking the good shit, if you're not the creme de la creme, why not just own Bitcoin? You need to, it's really a social experiment, and then there's getting lucky. That's what altcoins are. Again, Daniel Kang, thank you for gifting all the memberships, man. You're a stud. Appreciate that, Lou. Still got it in my favorite community. Still got to be here in my favorite community. Oh, thanks, Kane. I got a community. It's so weird. I wasn't even doing this shit 3 months ago, guys. I was afraid to do it. I'm a high school dropout who didn't even want to go to speech class. I didn't even go to speech class. And now I have a community. If that doesn't tell you can do things in life, I don't know what does. You never really know what you're capable of. And the biggest thing that holds people back, including myself, is I told myself I was an idiot because I was a high school dropout for a year and a half and I hated school. And I was the biggest person setting myself back. Cava. Oh yeah, Carvana. Is that what this shit is? Cava Group? Is that what? I don't remember. No, this isn't Carvana, is it? Let me see. What is Cava? This thing's like a rocket ship, dude. And I might have to end after this one, guys. I hate to do that. I know there's a bunch of other people. I might just scan through the comments here, but I won't be able to get to the rest. If you guys want to get your comments looked at earlier, like I said, get in early and choose that. This is a restaurant group. Okay. Revenues are pretty consistent. I don't know. It's a little spotty. It's just done really great. Oh, but guidance is still moving up, and you can see some cyclicality there. EPS is still kind of bouncy. Operating expenses are flat. 14% short interest. That's a lot. Has this just been fucking the shorts the whole time? Is that what's made this a good play? It's a $7 billion company that doesn't make a lot of money. I don't love it, dude. This might be like a short play, maybe. I don't know, because it's tied with restaurant business. I probably need to look and see what this is. But I gotta pee and eat. And I've done this for an hour and a half. So I think I'm probably going to bail again. Tomorrow I'll do another one of these. And then tonight at 7:30 p.m. you guys can catch me. Hopefully I didn't miss any super stickers here. Siraj, I got you. Hope we bounce back this coming March 20th. Thank you, Motive Day. Thank you, everybody who signed up. Oh, I think I saw another one here. Let me not miss. I want to not miss these stickers. Patrick Reddy, Bob Murphy. From Mises Inst got me into BTC. Bob also got me into infinite banking with dividend paying whole life insurance. It's my policy holder to manage cash flows. Have you heard of this? No, I have not. I can take a look at it though. Patrick's a good dude, so I would be interested. Affy Gorilla, thank you for the super sticker here. Karen, you retracted your message, but thank you for the $1. I appreciate that. Everybody else who signed up, thank you. Thank you for another sticker here, or 250. You guys are awesome, man. Holy crap, dude. Everybody's signing up. You guys are blowing my fucking mind right now. You're humbling me. You guys are insane. And I'm so sorry I didn't get all these. Oh, Clove. Hey, Jesse. Asked me for intel on the fundamentals of Clove Health Insurance Company that is serving that underserved. They're targeting people age 65 plus and marginalized populations. Well, I love that. All right. I'll take a closer look at them. I do like it when people do good things. Entire health insurance. That's cool. Okay. Yeah. Lowest medical cost ratio in the entire health insurance market compared to Humana and United. They're working on their software, Clover Assistant, for a number of years now. It helps doctors. It takes a look at diseases that could be forgotten, and even help people keep track of patients. All right, cool, man. I'm interested in the tech. I'll check it out. And I do like companies that are serving the cause. I won't necessarily lose a fortune trying to help, go into their stock, but as it goes down, if these guys have good tech and they've got a good cause, I love that. That's a wicked combination. So I will give this one another look for sure. Just based on that, I'd be interested to see what their product is. All right, guys, I love you. I've got to pee, and I don't like peeing myself, so I'm gonna head out. But if you guys want to come on at 7:30 here and hang out with me and Tanner, you're sure obliged. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, maybe 9 Central or something. It depends on how much coffee I have to get into me before my brain starts working. I'll do this again, and I'll do it again on Sunday, and then I got the thing with Tom on Sunday. So love you guys. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Make sure you get notified when the stuff is happening. And at the end of this, if you guys could comment on the market recap in the comments section, that would be amazing. Oh, a Clove SPAC from Chamath. All right, well, Chamath had a lot of shitty SPACs, but there's some good stuff in there too. So I'll definitely take a look. And he's a smart guy. I love him. Anyway, all right. So yeah, you guys, if you could comment too, that would be great. It just helps get things out there. And the more people we get out there, the more help I can get. And I would like to get some help because I'm retired. And I didn't know I was going to be a social media influencer. So I'm just trying to figure this shit out and keep up with all of it, frankly. But I love you guys. If I don't see you and you don't watch any, whatever, have a great weekend. Focus on what's important in life, family, friends, and the little bit of time we have on this pale blue dot in the middle of nowhere. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.